to do a deep dive analysis. I don't really know what technically to categorize this as, but it's going to be on Vampire Academy by Michelle Mead. Well, it is also the name of the series. We're going to go just over book 1. Here is the lovely postal, I guess, I made of it. Now, technically, this video is not going to be on the actual book yet. We're going to go over triggers, what each color means here, and then we're going to go over why I'm also doing the series. We're going to, at the very beginning, give the credit for the inspiration of this, and that is Jenny Nicholson, Mike's Mike, Street Book Club, and Cani. Okay, so we have triggers. There are a lot of them. So one of the triggers is there are depictions of self-harm and depression in this book. It is on the page. Another one is there is an inappropriate relationship between an adult and a child. Now, to make it worse, even though that is already bad, he is full teacher, or at least he is full tutor in the series. Another one is that there is depictions, and I don't necessarily want to say talks, at least in this book, they're not really talking about it, but there is depiction of addiction and drug use. And it very much so is on the page, and later on in the book, later on in the series, later on in the series there are explicit drug use that is in the series. Okay, so we have those triggers. There are more, unfortunately. There is an on-page depiction of sexual assault. Later on, there is a rumor that is made, and that rumor is between a person, the person who assaulted the person, and the rumor is between the person that sexually assaulted the other person and someone else that into it, and it is basically them saying that sexual things happen when they do not. It is spread around the school because this takes place in a school, and the entire school believes the rumor, doesn't believe the main character, and that is something that happens. There is also depictions and talks of ableism in this story. There was that. I believe that is all the major trigger warnings. I could totally be wrong and just forgetting one right now, but I will do my best in the videos when this does come up to say the triggers before we get to them. So now we're going to move on to the colors. Now there is a key right here, but I recognize it's pretty hard to see because of the lights. So red was difficult for me because I was like, red, should it be like romance, or should it be like conflict? Should it be violence, right? Blood type of a thing. And I chose to make it romance. So if there is red, that means there's either a romantic relationship that happened before the book took place, or when the book is taking place. If there is pink, that is an indicator of friendship. I just wanted it to be pink, and I will go. Next we have orange is conflict. Now, conflict could mean something that there is an argument that maybe is resolved in the next chapter, or maybe it's a fight, physical fight. It could mean any kind of conflict in the story. Now, if there was conflict between one person and it gets resolved, and there's conflict again, I only made like one line for it, just so that there's not too many lines going on here. So one line could be multiple different conflicts. Then we have green, and that is an indicator of like a guardian, Relationship. Now, guardian does not necessarily mean what we would associate with a guardian in our society. Guardian specifically means someone who physically would protect the other person. It is a specific kind of job. It is a job between a specific kind of person and another specific kind of person. I don't want to really get into it, but I also can't really explain it without going down any rabbit hole. So it's not like they have any kind of control over the person. It's a job. Okay. Next we have blue. Now that is a family indicator. Now I only put it for the close family ties, so father, daughter, brother, sister type of a thing. Because if I do it for every family tie, almost everyone would have a blue line connecting to everyone. That is because the majority of the people here are royalty in the series, so they are just simply related because they are majority are royal. So it is specifically close family ties. Next we have purple. Now this is also very hard to explain, but that is a specific kind of magic called spirit magic. There's other forms of magic and other types of magic in this world. I think spirit is special enough to have its own kind of indicator when it gets used. It also could mean they are connected because of the magic, maybe not because magic was done on them with that specific kind of magic. It is very kind of confusing. I'm probably not explaining it well, but that's kind of what the purple lines are indicating. Next, we have brown, which indicates a crush. Now this might be a one-sided crush, or it might be mutual, but the other person doesn't realize it's mutual. So there is that, and that is all the colors. Now the pictures. The pictures come from the graphic novel Vampire Academy book. That is where you can find these beautiful these beautiful character arts. The the animals over here come from a copy, like a free use animal pictures I just got off of Google. So that is where they come in. I thought it would be fun to have the animals that are in the series depicted shown, even though a lot of them don't have a very good story in them. I thought it would be fun to at least show them. Now, some only have like their names listed and not a character picture. With Ralph, he probably was shown in the graphic novel. I just didn't see him, and so he's not there. And then others, it's like I don't necessarily think they were depicted. They are mentioned in the story, but I don't think that it's important enough to try to find a picture for them. That is the names that are just like put there. Next, we have a certain kind of thing that is shown that I will put on the characters when it is time. So we have this beautiful M for a specific kind of person. Same thing with a D. Sometimes we have little fun pictures that I will put on them. So we have a crown for the L, which is shown here. I just don't have the crown on them. And then for the specific kind of magic that certain characters specialize in, those will be added once they come up in the story. I'm going to try not to spoil anything that happens in it besides when we are actually at that part of the story. This notebook is where I'm going to keep my notes for what to go over. So this should be in the videos as well. That is where I'm going to be looking at. Okay, well lastly, why am I doing this? So this book series is 6 books long, and the last book is actually very big. Now, here is something about this. I have actually not finished the series. I stopped before we got, well, right before I finished book 5, but started book 5, and then just went straight to the spin-off series instead and read those, and then because the spin-off takes place after this series, I was kind of content in not finishing the series. Um, I think that a lot of like old YA, 2000s to 2010s, are important to kind of the new YA that is coming out. Currently, YA means young adult. I think that specifically 2010s really influenced the male characters in YA, and honestly in other book series that are not YA, just adults in general. I think that a lot of our like cultural influences can be tied back to YA 2010s, or can be signaled of what was happening at the time. Um, and I think especially with like big books or maybe like cringy books, um, it could have some kind of barrier into reading them. Maybe you don't have access, maybe you don't want to, but you're like curious. This is what it's for. I'm going to try and do 15 minutes or less recaps of what is happening, how many parts it takes. I'm going to try to do a part is a jackal, but we'll see if I can do that. But it's to make the story accessible so that way we can take the influences that we can see here and look at them in adult YA. Um, I think another example of this would be looking at Cassandra Clare, but that is besides that. This is a vampire family. So I hope that was a good explanation of why I'm doing this, the trigger warnings, and what will be going on. Okay, bye.